Ark Survival Evolved's Genesis Part 2, a map that changed the game forever and added some of the fiercest dinos in the entire game. So what did I do? I decided to survive 100 days of hardcore survival on Genesis Part 2 and defeat the final boss, Rockwell Prime. If I die, it's all over. What could go wrong? Day 1 started the same as every other start, as a player in a full Federation tech suit, ready to fly around the skies. After changing my hair real quick, I decided my first duty of the day should be to go get some notes for some quick starting levels. With some extra levels, I headed over to the big spire in the middle of the Eden Zone. Once arrived, I used my fully charged Federation gauntlet to smack some trees and some rocks. I then decided to punch the absolute life out of a moose, but I had enough and jumped off a cliff, probably for the best. But I turned around and immediately got my foundation stolen by a pesky Pegomastix. Needless to say, that Pego didn't survive very long. After farming around some more, I placed a forge, a fire, and a smithy, and shortly after, I had enough metal to make some metal tools. Day 2 started with me staring up and admiring the changing scenery. However, that didn't last long, because I quickly started beating some dodos with my club for some new friends, because we all know that's exactly how you make new friends. After making some new friends, I headed up to the top of the spire and started placing down the beginnings of our new home. I brought up Dumbo the Dodo and said hello to our trusty friend, Elena. I quickly flew back down to grab the rest of our friends, and something tragic happened. We lost someone close to us. But the morning didn't last long. I quickly forgot about him and tamed up a Moschops for some quick comfort. But since the mission terminal was so close by, I couldn't help myself and went ahead and ran around on an enforcer and completed the race in record time.
First place. Good on ya.
I then realized I needed to get some berry farmers so I could get some more narco berries. So I found some parasaurs, and after one of them decided it wanted to be a fish, they tamed up and I brought them back to my humble abode. Day 3 started with some baby making. An egg then magically popped out and I picked it up and threw it in the fire, and moments later a tiny parasaur popped out. I quickly realized I could use a little more protection, so I headed across the lakes and farmed some metal, brought it back, and made myself a flak helmet. I then cryoed up my Moschops and went to farm some berries, completely forgetting the fact that I just got myself some nice parasaurs to farm with. With a bunch of darker berries obtained though, I crafted up a heap of narcotics. With some narcotics, I made myself some trank arrows and went out looking for a Maywing, so I could get around the map just a little bit faster. But of course, I got distracted and started farming drops. I focused back up though and tamed myself a nice Maywing and named it Marge. Day 4 started with me waving away Day 3 and staring off my new amazing view. With my new Maywing, I decided to fly around the map for the next day and drop hunt. After getting some absolute juice, I headed home and crafted up some bullets for my newfound long neck. Day 5 started with heading out to tame up some PTs. After knocking a few PTs out, I found an Ovis to absolutely demolish. I then continued knocking out PTs, forgetting about the war crimes I had just committed. With all my new PTs tamed, I flew them up to the spire and brought them home. Day 6 began, and I headed out farming some wood and getting a bunch of wooden foundations made. I wanted to start flooring off the spire. After flooring off a section of the spire, I lined up my new PT friends and made some babies. After grabbing the eggs and throwing them into the fire again, magically, some new PT babies popped out. Day 7 started with an adventure to the far corner of the map in the redwoods. Once I got there, I started farming a lot of wood and quickly got distracted as per usual and tamed myself up a monkey. After hanging around the redwoods for a while, crafting foundations and farming more wood, with my new friend Major Monkey, I flew home and started flooring off some more of the spire. I then decided I wanted my home to feel a little more like a home, so I made myself a nice little table and some chairs. Day 8 started with a quest to tame myself an owl, but after finding some, they almost kicked my ass and almost ended everything right there. But shortly after, I found an owl all by itself and knocked it out. I then needed to find some meat to tame it, so I committed more war crimes against sheep and brought its innards back to the owl to make it my own. Shortly after, on my way home, I found an otter swimming around the lakes, so I did the only logical thing. I tamed it and named her Octavia. Day 9 started off with heading out to tame up an Argy, so I made a trap, lured it in, and after knocking it out, I headed back to grab some meat, and while putting the meat in the Argy, I got absolutely jump scared by some raptors. With the raptors dealt with, I decided to calm down a bit and knock out an Anki to go along with my Argy. Shortly after, my Argy tamed up, and day 10 began. I started the day with some missions.
This scenario must have been an attempt to make running network connections more fun. So do we get a victory lap? First place! So do we get a victory lap? First place! Good on ya! No one's faster than you. So do we get a victory lap?
After a bunch of races, I decided to take on the Gauntlet mission.
Just wave after wave of them.
After successfully defeating the mission, I popped out and day 11 had arrived. I then used my massive brain and downloaded some of the ocean platforms from the mission rewards for some extra materials. Day 12 quickly arrived and I headed over to pick up my Yankee. While in the area though, I farmed up some crystal for my new industrial forge, but first I needed some more polymer, so I crafted up a chainsaw and headed out. After flying around the rivers for a while, I found some Hesperornis and quickly chopped up their bodies. With the polymer from their bodies, I headed home and crafted myself a nice industrial forge. With the industrial forge placed, I decided to go ahead and fill it up. So I took the Yankee and the RG out and started farming metal. After farming up a bunch of metal, I got back and filled up the forge. Day 13 started with farming a bunch of wood to make some upgrades to our home. Day 14, I had one goal, go out and explore the oceans, so I made myself some scuba and did exactly that. After exploring for a while, I decided that I could use a new friend, so I tamed up a dolphin and explored some more. After satiating my inner fish, I decided to go ahead and do some more missions for the entire next day.
So, first place. Good on ya. First place. Good on ya. So, do we get a victory lap?
Day 16 started with some more drop farming, but quickly turned into doing another mission.
Now that's what I call a hunt.
The mission dragged into day 17, and then I finally fixed the dino levels, so they were finally back to normal. Day 18, I crafted up a chemistry bench and headed out with the Maywing to farm up a bunch of narcoberries. I then crafted up a lot of narcotics to make some darts. I spent the rest of day 18 and day 19 knocking out and taming stegos in preparation for the final boss fight. Day 20 started with breeding up my newfound stegos and becoming the father of a new baby stego. After becoming a father, I headed out to explore the space biome and see what was happening over there. Day 21 and 22, I spent taming up a bunch of Rexes and drop farming in between. Day 23, I bred my new Rexes and hatched them for some new babies. Then shortly after, I farmed some more wood for some charcoal to make some more bullets. Day 24 started with one goal in mind. At the end of the day, I'd have a Strider. But of course, there was a lot that needed to be done first. So I headed over to the corrupted area of the map, then made my way into Rockwell's garden. After being extremely terrified and flying through it as quickly as possible, I found myself a little mutagen plant. So I picked it and immediately regretted it, as everything quickly targeted me. But I ran away as quickly as possible and headed over to Rockwell's heart. Once there, I headed down to the toxic pit and farmed up enough mutagel to tame a Strider. Of course, I quickly made my way out of there and right back to the Eden Zone and found myself the perfect Strider and tamed it up. Day 25 arrived and I headed back over to the Corrupted Zone to go on a massive farming spree with my new Strider. After a day-long farming session, I uploaded the Strider, grabbed a slot cap of metal, and headed home into day 26. After spending a day moving metal back from the Corrupted Zone, day 27 had arrived, and for the next 3 days, I decided to make some upgrades to the home. Day 30 came around and I finally decided to name the tribe the True Shinobi. I then set out to farm some berries. I brought them back up and finally got myself a bunch of med brews. Day 31, I crafted myself a canoe and messed around for most of the day, driving around lakes, rivers, and even waterfalls. But then I saw a turtle and decided it needed a new home. That night, while relaxing in base, I looked around and realized everything was starving. So I panic bought a bunch of meat and berries from HLNA and saved the day. With the panic of last night behind us, day 32 was here and it was time to head back into the ocean. Once in the ocean, I scouted around and found myself a Tuso to tame. I spent the rest of the day and into day 33 scouting the oceans for a higher level Tuso. Then, I finally found one. Even though we lost some good friends there, we finally had ourselves a higher level Tuso. And shortly after, I made a mistake. So, I spent day 34, 35, and 36 prepping to tame another Tuso, and then that's exactly what I did. Day 37 came around and I had had enough of the oceans, so I set out for land and went taming. First on my list was a Yudi. With the Udis tamed, I headed over to the Corrupted Zone to tame up a Daeodon for the upcoming boss fight. Day 38, I was in the space biome and wanted to properly explore it, so I farmed up some element and started taming an Astrodelphus. Shortly after taming it, I got jump scared by a Voidworm and feared for my life. But after killing it, I made a major realization. I didn't have the level for the saddle engram, so being extremely disappointed, I took out my frustrations on the nearest space whale. Day 39 and 40, I spent farming resources and building my new farm, because if I wanted to successfully defeat Rockwell Prime, I would need some cakes. Day 41, I started the day off by taming a Phiomia, so I could force it to poop for the rest of eternity. Then, that's exactly what I did, and used all of its poop for my crops. Day 42 and 43, I spent messing around the base waiting for the crops to grow, so I can make some cakes. Day 44, I spent the day farming the resources to make the cakes, chainsawing trees for sap, and very carefully taking honey from beehives. Then, I finally made some cakes. Day 45 through 48, I spent scouting around the entire map looking for a Giga, until I finally found one and started taming it. After taming it, I brought it back to the Eden Zone and absolutely demolished everything in my path, leaving nothing behind. Day 49 through 54, I did all the remaining Gamma missions, because for the Rockwell Prime fight, I needed all of them finished to start it.
Nice work. I'll set this one aside for analysis. Nice work. I'll set this one aside for experiments. Another one for the wind column. Reset the ships and furnaces to stop. Shut down Rockwell's fight. That's what I call it. Another one for the wind column. That's what I call it.
Day 55 came around and I decided I wanted to start some more taming, so I headed over to the Corrupted Zone and found myself a mana. After knocking out the mana, I slaughtered a Bronto for prime meat and then tamed the mana. Day 56 through 58, I started working on taming a Shadow Main, and that is one thing I hate doing. I swear, the amount of times I snuck up on the Shadow Main just for it to wake up literally almost made me quit. But on day 58, I finally tamed it and had a fun time jumping around and killing everything in my path.
I think it's some kind of chimera.
Day 59, I took the Shadow Main into Rockwell's garden and started fighting everything down there, but quickly realized I should tame a light pet. After getting the light pet, I headed back into Rockwell's garden and tried to get impregnated by a Reaper. But after failing and almost dying, I figured I should probably get some better gear, so I hunted drops and geared back up for the next 6 days. On day 66, I headed back into Rockwell's garden and tried my luck again getting impregnated. And it finally happened. I got impregnated, even though I was sweating since it dropped me down to 1 HP and the timer was extremely low because of the settings. I was happy, but now I had to rush home to pop the Reaper. Once I got home, I immediately popped the Reaper. I then waited there for the rest of the day until it raised. On day 67, on my way back to Rockwell's garden, I stopped in the space biome to farm some mutagel to get enough to start the boss fight. After farming for a full day, day 68 had arrived and I wanted to use my new Reaper in Rockwell's garden, so that's exactly what I did for the next 2 days. After a lot of close calls and a lot of fun fighting in the gardens, I wanted out, so I headed home and stopped to farm some element in the space biome on day 70. Once home, the final preparations began to go underway, but there was still a lot to do. So for the next 10 days, I bred the Rexes, leveled all the boss dinos, and healed all of them up. Since the main source of damage in the boss fight for me would be the Rexes, I needed to get some saddles. So I grinded out for the next 11 days, drop hunting and doing the circuit chase mission on Alpha in hopes of getting some more saddles. But unfortunately, I only got a couple more. So to make up for the lack of damage, I found a 200 plus armor Spino saddle, so I decided to go tame a Spino on day 92. For the rest of day 92 until day 99, I began making the final preparations for the fight, making new armor, crafting med brews, crafting vegetable cakes, crafting shotgun shells, and moving all the dinos to the arena's starting place, just under Rockwell's heart. And halfway through day 99, I started the final fight against Rockwell Prime. I went in extremely nervous that everything I did up to this point would be for nothing.
Some of the controls are still up and running.
This is where just you're only making it worse for yourselves. Their future, damn you! Enough! This ends now! Your survival ends here!
And that was it. I had defeated Rockwell Prime and survived 100 days of hardcore arc on Genesis Part 2. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, but of course, I won't leave you guys without a proper ending. So enjoy the bittersweet end to Ark Survival Evolved.
Damn! I should have calculated for this possibility. Must have transformed in the 15th statistical outcome matrix. Simply put, Rockwell's embedded himself too deeply into the ship's primary systems. They're failing along with him. There's only one way to ensure this all ends here. Sorry, mate. I can't come with. I'm almost out of time to back myself up. You'll do just fine on your own out there. You're a survivor.
Why are you still here? Staying behind to gloat?
Edmund, I'm here to help you end this nightmare.
You did this to me for wanting the same power she squandered. Well, I've survived worse. I promise you, I will find a way out of this. I will.
No, you won't. It's much too late for that.
It's so bright. Helena. I'm afraid.
She knew. Survivor, this is my last message to you, to be relayed in the event of my deactivation. I was only an artificial construct when we first met, just a shadow of someone who lived a long time ago. But in our time together, I got to become something new, someone new. Not Helena. HLNA. Thank you for that. I wish I could find the words to tell you how much it meant to me. Human language is so imprecise. But I need you to do something else now. Find your own path. Your own destiny. Build a new world here. A better world. And who knows? Maybe two lost souls can still meet again somewhere. Out among the stars. Goodbye, my friend.